Uh, I was supposed to do something yesterday, but I've been busy. You know why? I'm moving, and so after I move, then I'll be okay. So, basically, oops, what's going on here? Okay. So basically, I'm on here because I have a hypothesis. This is not fact. This is just conjecture. Again, this is just my guess, but a lot of times I'm right on my guesses. Now, I guess 3 days ago, Pakistani terrorists or insurgents or whatever you're going to call them went to India, I guess, or the Kashmir um, area of the India Pakistani border. I don't know how that's working out. And they attacked and they killed, I think, about 28 or 31 Indians were killed. So they were asking the Indians, if you're Muslim, they're gonna ask you some kind of pointers about Muslim, some kind of like something that only Muslims would know. If you didn't know, then they're gonna kill you. If you're Hindi, they definitely would kill you. Okay, so 30. This is no provocation provocation from India. This is just Pakistani militants coming in and just killing a whole bunch of people. It's quite similar to what happened between Israel and Gaza when these militants came in and killed, I don't know, like, who was it, thousands of people? Like 1,000? I forgot how many people. They killed a lot, though. So this is like the same thing that happened, basically. And my hypothesis is that this is being done by China. It was provoked by China. Why am I saying that? Because the weapons that are being used in the war or in this conflict were given by China. The missiles were given by China. Okay, and so, or the missiles or the, yeah, whatever they was using. I don't know if it's missiles or the weapons. They're being endorsed by China. All I know is China got something to do with it. And the reason why I think that China got something to do with it is because Apple, Foxconn, all these Barbie, Mattel, right? All these companies, because of the tariff war, because Trump is giving an ultimatum to American companies or to international companies to decouple from China. A lot of these companies are decoupling from China, and the places they are moving to are Vietnam and India. Now, China has a foothold in Vietnam, and pretty much Vietnamese do not have any kind of conflict with anyone besides China. So the people they have conflict with is kind of with China because of the islands, but because of China is so very powerful, they pretty much own Vietnam. Like, it's pretty much, it's just like Vietnam is like China's little brother, right? So if things are getting moved or companies are being moved to Vietnam, American companies are moving to Vietnam. China don't mind that much because it's just like, well, we can manipulate the situation where we can still win. Okay, our people can still make money, and this, that, and the third. I learned that phrase from American Hood Rats. But but the other one with India, if you're telling if you they cannot control India's situation, okay, because China and India, they are friends, but they're not as friendly as India is with America. And India basically has like a democratic state. I do believe. I do believe they have a democratic state, and so they cannot be controlled by China because they are competing. I mean, even in America, like Indians are pretty much more successful than Chinese in terms of financial, right? And Indians actually help each other more than Chinese do. A lot of times Chinese be trying to cheat each other and stuff, as opposed to Indians, they always helping each other out, should I say. But America, or I'm sorry, but China has no control over what India does. So they do not want India to take their business because they see what's happening. So the same thing is happening where it used to be Taiwan, right? Americans used to get their stuff made by Taiwan because we got the big purchasing power. I don't know what happened with Taiwan, but then they snatched it from Taiwan, and then it was mostly from Taiwan and Japan, right? So because China could do it cheaper, I guess China could do things cheaper. They snatched the power from Japan and Taiwan and then put it in China's hands. Because in 2001, China made some kind of there was a commitment and promises that were supposed to be made, right? And everything was cheaper. But China has not delivered on any of the promises at all, pretty much, at the WTO. And so Trump is like, yo, we got to go to India. And so what I'm thinking was happening, I don't think Trump is saying we got to go to India, but Trump is like, I don't give a F where you got to go, but you got to get the hell up out of here. So he's telling American companies like, I don't care where you at, where you go, but you got to get the heck up out of China. It'd be right if you could come to America, but just get out of China. We're decoupling from them right now, right? We can do it. And I've been talking to you about this for years and years that we need to decouple from China. Now, now that we're decoupling from China, you got all these companies, especially Apple. They want 20 to 30% of their output to be from India now because they're tired of the Chinese shenanigans, and now that Trump is in power, they know they're gonna have a lot of trouble, right? So they're trying to move a lot of stuff to India, but China don't want that. And so what I believe they did is they took a pin and they started poking the bear of Pakistan. Yo, do something about India. So that if India and Pakistan have this ongoing conflict, how can you have stable business in India? If you got Pakistanis coming into India, killing people and doing all kind of stuff. China is, because of the Communist Party, is a relatively stable country. They all think the same. There's not an ongoing war except if you in like Tibet or the Uyghur, but they clamp down on that, right? They got like prison camps and all this other kind of stuff, right? But how are you going to stop that in India? Because it's a long seated hatred, and I believe that China has poked that bear of Pakistan and enticed them. You owe us, Pakistan. Go and do something about India. Go and rout the bee's nest because we don't want these businesses leaving us. And so that's what I think is happening. I also believe that they was responsible for that too in terms of COVID. Okay, I do believe that Fauci, I don't know if he planned it to be released in China. I don't think he planned it. I think he just put that facility there because he knows how dangerous that facility is in Wuhan, right? And the Chinese facility is too dumb to know how to control stuff, right? And so I think it accidentally got out because of incompetence in Tabador, and the government knew how dangerous this disease is, right? And so they closed the borders all in the in China. So you couldn't go to Shanghai, you couldn't go to Beijing, you couldn't go to from Beijing to Shanghai, from Shanghai to Guangzhou. All those kind of ports was closed, but the international ports were open. So they let all the people during Chinese New Year, knowing that disease got out there, to flood the entire planet with COVID. And I think they did that on purpose because they was like, well, if our economy is going to be hit by this, so if our economy is going to be hit, we're going to make sure the whole world's going to be hit by it too. So we ain't going down alone. And so I think they just exported like they do everything. They exported a cheap product, which was the COVID-19 virus. And they exported, they're murderers of a lot of people. I think China, the Chinese government is murderers of a lot of innocent people around the world. They exported this virus on purpose. Okay. And for you people who say, nah, I don't believe that, I don't believe that, look at SARS. And because I was there during SARS in 2003 when they didn't tell people that how dangerous SARS was. And then didn't that go all around the world? And they never learned a lesson. It's not a lesson to be learned. They don't want to learn the lesson. They're like, if we're gonna get hit, you're gonna get hit too. Because you can imagine if only China got hit with that virus, and then the rest of the world just kept going on and on, right? They can't stand that. But if you really think about it, they will have to export things, right? So China has to export. But if you stop, what if the country like America stopped the export, say we don't want that virus? We got to stop the exports from coming from China to the United States. That would devastate China's economy. So they was just like, yo, we just gonna export this virus everywhere. So Xi knew what he was doing when he did that. And he's doing the same thing with China. He is basically just this dude, Xi Jinping, has started a war, and it could potentially be nuclear war, because India has 172 nuclear warheads, and Pakistan has 170 nuclear warheads. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's a thing that won't affect the rest of the world that much in terms of mutual destruction. Because of India and Pakistan, they right close to each other. It's just basically a country bombing itself, and China made a dumb decision because if they go into a nuclear holocaust between those two countries, China is the bordering nation. So all that all that had to do is have an upwind, right? So all that has to have is an upwind. You have an upwind of a blowing wind from India or Pakistan, and Chinese people are affected by that. But this is my opinion. I think that China, again, it's my opinion, it's just conjecture. I think that China got their hand in this um, provocation, provoking of poking the bear of India. Because basically, recently, India and Pakistan have had no kind of problems, pretty much. I mean, they have a long-standing war between each other, like a silent war or whatever. But they've had a long ceasefire, and they've been comfortable in that aspect. Now, what has happened for them to all of a sudden say, for Pakistanis say, "Oh, I'm just gonna go and attack India people for no reason. Because I feel like it." I think it is have to do with China poking the ass of Pakistan, saying, "You owe us all them loans we gave you, all the students we allow in our country, and the technology that we lend you, right? And the weapons that we sell you, you owe us something." Okay. What we want you to do is to disrupt the supply chain of India by creating some kind of chaos in India so that companies have a second thought about moving their positions to India, moving their companies to India. And why you think it's so fast that there's kind of like a ceasefire? When Trump is on the phone, I heard the ceasefire is broken now, but Trump was on the phone. India is very fast to do ceasefire. Of course, they retaliated, right? But India is very fast to do a ceasefire. Why? Because they know that billions of dollars is coming from those Chinese, those companies that used to be in China. They move into India. They don't want to mess with that, and so it's like we don't want to fight with you, Pakistan, right now, because we got business going on. Okay, we got business going on. We don't want to fight with you guys. All we want to do is chill. And so that's what I think is happening. And what is America going to do about it? I don't know if there's much that they can do. I don't think it's, I mean, even though they promised a ceasefire, Trump said, okay, a ceasefire is done. I did it. I promised a ceasefire. And then um, Pakistan sends drones out. So I think China is directing Pakistan on what to do. Okay, promise ceasefire and then do this and do that. Right? Do that and do this. Poke them. Be unpredictable. Right? So that the United States has no choice in Switzerland but to come to the table to China to try to grovel. But America already won this war. Okay, this tariff war. China has not won this war. America has won this tariff war. It's already won. Basically, it's already won. Okay, it's already won. We could do without China. If you see what's going on in China now, it is insane. Okay, all the people is leaving from Shanghai. Everything is closed. The property market. You bought a house for like 12 million. Now it's like 6 million, and they trying to sell it, and they can't sell it, and the price just keeps going down and down and down and down. Who the hell makes 12 million RMB enough to pay 12 million RMB for a home? Who makes that? Your average Shanghainese probably makes like freaking 10,000 RMB, and that's a good job. Right at the moment, that's a good job. You got 17 to 20% unemployment in China. 17 to 20% youth unemployment. You got all these people overcrowding Didi, the car company in China, the Uber clone. Okay, you got them doing Didi, and you got them doing Didi Eats and all this kind of stuff, and it's an oversaturation saturation of that market. Whereas before they were getting maybe per order, probably the Chinese guy, if he's working hard per order, he's probably getting 7 and 8 yuan per order, right? Now per order, he's getting like 1 or 2 yuan. To drive somebody from point A to point B, the average drive, right? Per mile is per kilometer, because they do that in Shanghai, in China. Per kilometer is less than 1 RMB per kilometer now. They got to work 15 hours a week just to get like 4,000 RMB. 15 hours a day in order to get like 3,000 something RMB. As opposed to in America, I mean, we are a little bit oversaturated with Uber and Uber Eats because everybody and their mama doing it now. But you could pretty much still make money. You could pretty much make like $3,000 if you work like 10 hours a day doing Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that. In China, you're not making that. Okay, and so their society is just right before their eyes is crumbling because a lot of them are saying, "Oh, down with America, down with America." And they don't understand the impact that America has on China. We could always find somebody else to buy stuff from. And like I've been saying for years, America should have went to India years ago. We should have never touched China. We should have went with India because we have the similar government, right? So we should have went to them, but we went to China because China is cheaper. But look at all the crap you got to deal with. You got to deal with the Communist Party, right? And so what I believe is going to happen, a lot of these companies, they're moving out of China, and China's going to stir the pot. So suppose you got companies that want to move to South Korea to do some factory work, because you remember South Korea used to do some American factory work too. So what if you got some companies that want to move to South Korea, and so what China gonna do is poke the bear of North Korea to stoke something with South Korea to make it feel unsafe, and so that these companies are kind of like pigeonholed to stay with China. And that's the modus operandi for the Chinese government. That's what they do. Okay, when I lived in China, they pigeonhole you as a teacher where you can't do nothing else. They create all these regulations and these arbitrary rules and these gray areas, so you can't move. Like you need to move in order to make your money, right? And so that's what I think they're doing with these companies. Because I know when my wife was working for Starbucks in China, you can't. Starbucks has so much trouble exporting their money outside of China. They had to reinvest within China. It was incredibly difficult to take money outside of China. They would have to always do some tricks in Hong Kong in order to take their money out. But places like McDonald's, those profits, yeah, McDonald's recorded, oh, there's record profits, yeah, but the record profits are not allowed to leave China. It's record profits as long as it stays in China. It doesn't help the American people. The operating money, uh, none of that goes back to McDonald's. I don't know about now, but I know back then. I mean, that's how it was. McDonald's couldn't take their money out, and then until they were bought out by a Chinese company. So you still have McDonald's in China, but it's like a Chinese run McDonald's. It's not like American McDonald's. So the Chinese take your technology, reverse engineer it, and then do their own thing with it and change it up, right? And then they ban you. So like something like, I don't know, like Facebook. So China has, oh, like Twitter. So China they used to have Twitter. Twitter used to be open in China like a while back. And then like in 2007 or something, 2006, I think they started putting like uh they started making fun of Hu Jintao or whatever. I don't know what they did. And then China got angry and then just blocked Twitter. And they blocked Twitter because they had made a clone of Twitter, which was called Weibo. And they made a clone of Twitter. And then after they made the clone of Twitter, then they blocked Twitter. And now they can't operate. And then they give subsidies to Weibo and Baidu, because Baidu is crap. Okay, if you compare it to Google or Chat GPT, like Baidu is just a crappy search engine. Okay. And so they blocked Google. I remember them blocking Google in 2010. And then Google had to close their doors down and stuff in Beijing. People were dropping off flowers and all that stuff. But what did they do? They just take the technology, they reverse engineer it, and then they tell Google to get out. And so Trump is tired of that, and so am I. So I'm just like, tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Holy crap, I got so many people. Put them likes up. Jesus. Somebody say I blocked Huawei. Oh, that's what it is. It's the Chinese trolls. So I got 179 people in here, but most of them is probably I would say most of them is probably anti-America. So you got China trying to run interference. They got the 50 Cent army outside trying to attack. Because right now I got 246 people, and I think that's just from like I think most of this, like 90% of it, is probably uh Chinese overlooked. See, they not see YouTube is blocked in China, but somehow these people can access YouTube. Look, you're talking rubbish, totally lie. When no place for likes. Yeah. So all of this stuff is run. All this stuff is run by Chinese trolls. So I got 233 people, which I've never had in my entire YouTube career. Not even when I had like at the top of my fame, I've never had 233 people in my live stream. And so this is China's paying their 50 cent army because they're afraid. Okay? So they're sending the 50 cent army to attack any type of anti-China rhetoric. But the thing is, you can't do nothing, China, because I'm in America. America is free. You can't do anything to me. Okay, when I was in China, I was scared. I was scared to talk and all that stuff. But here, you can't do nothing. You can throttle my channel, which I don't give a heck about the channel, pretty much. You could do whatever you want with the channel, and you could do nothing with me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they said 323 people. Yeah. So they in here attacking, and you got 204. So it's probably gonna be uh 150 downvotes, but they don't have any more downvotes in YouTube. So it doesn't really matter. But you guys support the channel. Just push up the likes for all the real people in there that are in here. Push up the likes. I know 90% of you are not American. Yeah, a lot of these people are traitors. They're spies that Chinese government sent to America, right? To pretend like they're studying, but they're really just minders, right? So you got students that come here to study, but they got another part-time job is to spy for the Chinese party, and the Chinese party will pay them to do stuff like the Democratic Party does. The Democratic Party, they will pay protesters to do stuff like George Soros. He pays people. You got these troll armies. But the thing is, you done F with the wrong one because I don't care. So I don't care about this channel. So yeah, Juanita May, go to bed guy. Um, yeah. So these are just they put different names, and then for every comment they get like Wu Jiao. Yeah, I know about Soros. I know Soros is bankrolling all the shit's happening right now in America. All the protests. He should be in jail. I don't care if he's 98 years old. Him and his son should be locked up. I ain't gonna say nothing about Palestine. Um, that is deep because before I thought it was like pro. I was kind of pro Israel, and then I started listening to Candace Owen, and then she started opening up my mind. So I mean, I don't have no comment on that. But definitely no, not this free Palestine junk. It ain't none of that. But Israel ain't right either. So, but you can't talk about the Jews on YouTube. So I ain't gonna say nothing about them neither. We have the 2A big. Candace Owen be spitting that fire. She's really some of the stuff she be saying. I did some research on. Uh, there's some stuff that she's talking about that people need to look at. We already won. America versus China. I'm pro Trump. You know how much craziness I get for being pro Trump? I almost bought like a Trump hat and a shirt because I saw it in North Carolina and some guy was selling them on the side of the road. But I was like, "Ugh, that's probably not a good idea." You know? Anyway, I just messaged to say that I believe that China is responsible for this India Pakistan conflict. Okay. and I'm not gonna just talk bullshit here. 30 minutes is enough. So I see you guys. I'll probably be back in a few days after I move in all my stuff. I'll show you my new house, and then we're gonna start doing live streams in there because I'm gonna create an office in there. It's wall to wall carpeting, so the sound is like pristine. I don't even need to put up any kind of this kind of you know what the foam that I was putting up, like the soundproofing. You know, I don't have to do none of that because I got the carpet all over the place. This place is beautiful. Yeah, call it the House of Flag. And I'll be back in a few days, y'all. But take care, people. Take care. Peace.